Howdy, and welcome to a deeper dive with Dara Cam. That is me. Today's special guest is Jim Rosica. We're going to take a deep dive into all things inauguration and the upcoming special session and a revolving door in Governor Ron DeSantis' administration as he prepares for his second term in office. Stick with us, you don't want to miss it.
I'm guessing that this is kind of crunch time for the governor in terms of being able to continue to raise money for future purposes.
That's right.
You're listening to A Deeper Dive with Dara, a podcast by City and State, Florida.
Welcome to
The Deeper Dive with Dara Cam.
And
special guest, City and State, Florida Editor-in-Chief Jim Rosica.
Wait a minute.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
You're so welcome.
We are coming to you from the Terracotta Room, and Jim will tell you how he got here.
On the tips of my tippy tip feet, I missed the green room meeting.
He sashayed across the foyer.
I sashayed across the foyer, coming from my rotunda of my broom closet office in the grand staircase of City and State News Service of Florida headquarters here in lovely downtown Tallahassee, the state capital of Florida.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going, thanks for listening. We are going to take a deep dive today into all things Governor Ron DeSantis. But first, before we do that, I want to ask Jim Rosica, the editor-in-chief. I didn't even stumble over it this time. But
that's because I said it.
Do you say DeSantis or DeSantis?
I am now saying DeSantis.
That's good.
Because the governor, I have finally realized, says his name DeSantis.
I know. I try to remember to say DeSantis.
DeSantis, yes.
But sometimes I backslide. So
yes.
It's okay. Well,
we've all created this habit over the last 4 years because no one's corrected us of saying DeSantis when the man himself, we should have noticed, says DeSantis.
Well, I think I've told this to you before and others that one of my ex-husbands still mispronounces my first name and calls me Dara. So I'm a little bit empathetic to someone who wants to have their name pronounced correctly.
Fairly put.
So Governor DeSantis is going to have a big shindig for his inauguration. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
You know, I actually got an invitation.
I'm so bummed out because I didn't, and I don't know why. I need to follow up on that and find out why.
I don't know why I got an invitation. So there you go.
Well, you're special.
Clearly,
you're a special guest.
But it tells me that my presence is requested to attend and participate in the inauguration of Governor Ron DeSantis and Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez on January 3rd, and I have to register for one or two free tickets, and I do have to wear business attire. It tells me.
What is business attire?
I think that means I have to go out and rent a 3-piece suit. Did they rent those? Can I get those where I get tuxedos? I want to feel important and wear a pinstripe vest. That's really all I'm concerned about.
A pinstriped vest. You would look very sharp.
Maybe Joseph A. Banks rents 3-piece suits. I'll have to look into it.
I can't believe that they do, but I could be wrong.
I need the one with the spandex on the back. Because I don't know.
Who doesn't need spandex?
I don't know if anything fits me these days.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy. So can I tell you about how many inaugurations I've covered? Many.
More than 2.
many.
What happens at these? Are there shows? Is there sword swallowing? Are there flamethrowers? Are there big name stars?
Well, when Governor Childs was reelected, he actually shot off a potato gun at his reelection inauguration during a parade. And I was there for that. I wasn't covering the news for that, but I was there for that. And the potato, for kids who don't know what a potato gun is, it's a Southern thing. And you put a potato.
My kid, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like, my kid is so there.
Oh, really?
Combine
You don't know what a
potatoes
potato
and
gun
guns.
is?
He's going to be so
All
excited.
right, hang on, because I'm going to Google a
Dad,
potato
will it make
gun.
fries? I don't know, Nick. Let's try it.
A potato gun. Oh, here's why potato guns are dangerous.
Oh, see, you know.
How to make a potato gun. 15 steps with pictures.
Well, and in Florida, see, we combine potato guns with lawn darts. So it's going to be a great show in January.
It involves pipes, a saw, and glue.
Oh, my God. I shot my eye out and I've stabbed myself. This is the best time ever.
Anyway, I remember when Governor Jeb Bush, at his inauguration, he was the first Republican since Bob Martinez to take office. And it was a very, very, very cold day on Governor Bush's first inauguration. I mean, it gets quite cold up here in Tallahassee, folks. And I remember leaving the area. It takes place, at least this one did, on the steps of the old Capitol. So as you're facing the Capitol, all of the swearing-in ceremonies were taking place on the steps, and we had risers for photographers and journalists. And as I was walking to my car, shivering back to my car after that, I heard an older woman who was dressed in some kind of a fur say to her companion, another older woman, "Isn't it nice to see all the fur? It's so great to have Republicans back in charge." I swear, I am not making that up. I maybe botched the direct quote a little bit, but the essence of it you get.
And on that note, folks, we'll see you next week. No, I totally believe that anecdote, and I'm not surprised at all. I probably know the person who said it.
You may.
I may.
You may.
I don't know, but I may.
You may. Anyway, that was what, 20 years ago? So it was a while back.
It was a bit ago. Yeah.
So there are balls, there are music festivals. I mean, each governor does whatever they choose to do. There usually are several balls.
Like skee balls? Did they set up like an arcade type of thing?
No, the kind of ball where I remember at Governor Scott's inaugural ball, we were cordoned off into an area. The reporters, we had our finery on too, because that was more than business attire. So we were cordoned off. We weren't allowed to mingle with the guests. So
Were you put in a pen?
it was essentially a pen, but it was cordoned off with velvet ropes and not cattle. What do they call those cattle barrier things that they like to put reporters inside at?
I have been in those, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Tell us, since you got the invitation and I was snubbed, what does Governor DeSantis have on tap for his second inauguration?
Well, the invitation does not tell you much, but as I've found out from my old friend and former colleague Gary Fineout was reported yesterday, I believe, that the inauguration celebration is going to be spread out over 2 days and will, quote, give close access to donors willing to contribute between $50,000 and $1 million, according to a breakdown of sponsorship packages. So I think that the RPOF knew that they were sending this invite to me because it was all free, free. You and of course, free seats mean the nosebleed seats. So I'll probably be on a tree limb in front of the Capitol watching the inauguration.
Well, I hope it's not sub-zero while you're doing that, like it was for me when I was covering.
I wouldn't know. Ever since COVID, Dara, I don't know if you know this. I've lived in a self-contained bubble. It's a physical bubble that I get into in the morning, and I walk around in it, and people on the street look at me and point. It's just invisible,
right?
It's clear. It's clear. I am the man in the bubble, and I walk down the street in it and kind of gets dirty because obviously it's just rolling around in the dirt. But
I see.
So I wouldn't know what temperatures are because I've shielded myself against them now for over 2 years.
Okay, now you're just being silly.
Does it still get cold here in Tallahassee? I'm not aware.
So I'm looking on the governor's inauguration website, and when you click on events right now, all you see is the official swearing-in ceremony on Tuesday, January 3rd, and the governor's inaugural ball on Tuesday, January 3rd. But it doesn't tell us who is, about any other possible events. It doesn't tell us who might be playing, what band might be playing. And anyway, I have heard, though, sources told me that the folks who are planning the inauguration are asking donors for $1 million. So $1 million. And they estimated that he'll probably grab about 15 to 20 million.
I am gobsmacked by that amount of money, and I'm wondering two things. One of which is I forget now. I don't know if you recall the folks that penned the song for the campaign. Which, of course, I'm forgetting the name of the song and both the people that performed it.
We're here to inform, folks.
We're here to inform you. Google us, folks.
In our crotchety brains here.
In any event, I'm wondering whether they're going to get some names like that to perform some music at the ball. And then also, I'm guessing that this is kind of crunch time for the governor in terms of being able to continue to raise money for future purposes.
That's right. That's right. And that's one of the reasons why I think the governor is going to do quite well. And actually, the money does not go to the governor. The money, this event is put on by the Republican Party of Florida.
Right.
So the money would go to the party, and then the party would, could contribute to the governor's efforts somewhere down the road. But one of the things that my source was noting to me the other day was that this is an opportunity for donors to make big contributions to the governor, and also for folks to have time, one-on-one time with the governor and for the next short period of time to have access to him, because if and when he does announce that he is running for president, you get the Secret Service detail, and your access might be more limited.
I'm gonna do a poll on Twitter. It just made me think of this. What Ron DeSantis' Secret Service code name should be?
Ooh, that's a great one. So do you have any suggestions?
I just literally thought of it. We know Reagan was famously Rawhide. That's the only one I can think of.
I did not know that.
Ronald Reagan's Secret Service code name was Rawhide.
Huh. Well, I can't even remember the Florida FDLE names for some of our.
They've all escaped my memory, but I'm going to do a fun little poll on Twitter, I think, to see what people think the. In an alternative universe where Ron DeSantis is president, what should a Secret Service code name be?
John F. Kennedy was Lancer.
Okay, all right.
George H.W. Bush, Timberwolf.
Did not know that.
Bill
one.
Clinton, Eagle.
I might have known that one.
George W. Bush, Trailblazer. Ooh, guess Obama. Renegade.
I don't know that I remember any of
I don't
those.
remember. Oh, guess what? Donald Trump, mogul.
Oh, yeah. See, there you go.
And Joe Biden, just to wrap it up for you
I was going to
folks,
say, bring it full circle.
Celtic.
Celtic.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't like that one at all.
That's kind
that
of
that lacks panache.
That's out of left field.
That lacks panache. Okay, readers, listeners,
Readers and listeners,
give us your suggestions, and you can send that to.
I will follow me on Twitter at Jim Rosica FL, or I'll put something on there and then I'll retweet it on the City and State Florida Twitter, which is, follow that one too, City and spelled out AND State FL.
Or you can tweet to me.
Or you could tweet to at Deeper Dive Cast, all one word.
That's right. Or at the Dara Cam.
Which is TheDarakam.
That's right.
So you will have a multiplicity of avenues by which to express your preference.
Okay. All right. Well, we have just taken care of that little bit of business. Thank you very much. In the meantime, while the governor is getting ready for his inaugural one other thing about inaugurations. I just don't remember a big inauguration to do for second terms. Am I just misremembering, or?
Well, and that may be the reason why, we're not seeing the details of which you're looking for. Or they just may not be sharing them. It might be all just a big surprise. They have a huge guest star. We're all going to be shocked at who it is. It could happen.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back with City and State Florida Editor-in-Chief Jim Rosica.
Here at Deeper Dive, we want to hear from you, the listeners. We invite you to send your questions, comments, and feedback to our mailbag. You can reach us at deeperdive@cityandstatefl.com. That's deeperdive@cityandstatefl.com. Get your 2 cents in by sending us an email.
Welcome back to a Deeper Dive with Dara. In the meantime, in the run-up to the inaugural festivities, whatever they may be, the DeSantis administration is undergoing some changes. Some folks are in and some folks are out.
Yes, just this week, just yesterday, I believe it was, we learned that the head of the Department of Economic Opportunity, Dane Eagle, submitted his resignation. It was made public yesterday. Also made public the same day was the resignation of Terry Rhodes, the director of the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, colloquially known as the DMV. And so they will
I call it the DHSMV.
It is the DHSMV. It is the FLA DHSMV, actually. Full DHSMV.
Terry Rhodes has been a longtime public servant in Florida. She has held a variety of roles, including she had a short stint as the state commissioner of agriculture and consumer services after former Commissioner Adam Putnam resigned to run for governor. And guess who he lost to?
I don't know who.
Governor Ron DeSantis.
Son of a gun.
Anyway, so Dane Eagle, who got his start in politics, at least in Tallahassee, when he was a travel aide for former Governor Charlie Crist.
And he eventually was elected to the Florida House. And
That's
I
right.
believe at one point he had worked up to majority leader, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. Yes. Okay. I did a 5 questions with him.
Well, there we go. Okay.
So he's leaving his position. He oversaw the Connect unemployment system debacle. He came in at
Came in.
He came in at the end of that.
Correct,
That's right.
yes.
Governor DeSantis recruited him to oversee
to right the ship, as it were.
That's yeah.
What a ship that needed to be righted.
That
by the
was
way.
absolutely
Boy,
correct.
was that a ship.
Oh my goodness, COVID. So Dane Eagle, I am wondering what's in store for Dane Eagle.
Well, we don't know, but we do know that his resignation will be effective December 30th. Why are we paying attention to that date? Because on January 1, I believe, the new ban on high state officials not being able to lobby for 6 years goes into effect. And so I suspect, I can't say, I've heard, I don't know, but I'm thinking that might be one reason why Mr. Eagle and Simone Marstiller, who was most recently the head of the Agency for Healthcare Administration,
Yes.
Also announced that she was leaving before the turn of the year. So we will be soon seeing, I suspect, on LinkedIn and elsewhere, announcements about their future plans.
I think isn't there, before that law goes into effect, isn't there a 2-year lobbying ban, or am I just making that up?
You could be right.
Legislators can't lobby
Yes.
for 2 years.
I think that
I'm not
was-
sure if that's the case.
Right. I think
for-
it was later expanded to include the high-ranking state officials, but I think
see.
Again, I hate to be proven wrong, but my ever-failing memory is telling me that Don Gates pushed a measure in the Constitutional Revision Commission of 2017 and 18, which is where that ban, I think, that you're speaking of comes from.
Interesting.
Once again,
We're not making it up
here
as
to-
we go.
We're here to inform, folks.
We're not
All
making
in
it
the
up.
back of our minds.
That's right.
No,
This happens.
we're not getting older at all.
I just wonder if there's just a certain amount of space for stuff in your brain, and then once you reach that capacity, it's like you can't absorb anymore.
I will admit to starting to call my cats by my kids' names, and vice versa.
Well, fortunately, I only have one dog, and his name is Max, as anyone who has ever called me at home
At
will
home
know.
should know, because you will hear him in the background.
I'm gonna bring him into the Terracotta Room one morning. We're gonna have Max here. He'll be our special guest.
And every time a squirrel goes by the window, you will hear about Max.
We'll see. So, in other news this week, the governor has released the proclamation for the special session, or the legislature.
No, actually, yes. The House Speaker and
That's
the
right.
Senate President are throwing this party. This is the second special session in 2022 that will address insurance issues. And the one thing that is included in the call, as they say, what they're going to be, doing is a measure for toll road relief.
What is up with that? I don't understand that. I mean, if you don't want to have people pay toll roads, then why don't you just do away with toll roads?
No, well, the big deal was, and the governor made a thing of this before Ian, I believe, was, suspending tolls on toll roads so that people would have more incentive to get out of Dodge. And often, toll roads are the best way to get out of Dodge. So
You mean in advance of a hurricane?
that is correct.
But they usually lift the tolls when there's an evacuation that's been ordered.
Well, I think this would put it into statute as to making it, having to rely on an executive order.
Oh, I see. So automatically they would.
I can assume. I have not seen the bill yet
I
for the
see.
special session. My understanding is there's going to be a big bill that's going to slam down on all the desks, and I'm sure the Democrats are going to try to throw a bunch of amendments on it, which will fail, and we'll just talk about the big bill.
Are they
which will
allowed to
then
file
pass.
amendments anymore since the Republicans have
Amendments
a
from
supermajority?
Democrats? What are those?
Yeah,
Can they still do that? What are amendments?
I guess they can file them, but the property insurance and I think property tax relief for folks who are affected by Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Nicole, isn't that going to be the primary focus of the special session?
Yes.
We don't know. We're being vague and not meaning to be cryptic, but we don't know the details yet because the legislation for the special session at the time that we are recording this has not yet been released.
I.e. the big bill.
The big bill. The big bill.
So the proclamation that came out today, today being the 6th of December, not to date ourselves, it says that the call of the special session is going to include additional reforms, and you can define reforms however you want to ensure that Floridians have access to reliable and affordable property insurance. So no surprise there. Providing specific tax relief, providing specific tax relief and financial assistance for damages caused by Hurricanes Ian and Nicole, which is what Governor DeSantis wanted in the first place. That was the initial spark for this latest special session. And then it says to establish a statewide toll credit program for frequent Florida commuters.
Yeah, see, I don't think it has anything
So
to
I think
do.
I'm wrong.
I
think I'm wrong. I just think I'm wrong. Just disregard everything I just said.
Yeah, I that's what I thought, and that's what I was saying. So I guess you get a special deal if you use toll roads a lot, but they don't want to do away with toll roads altogether because we make a lot of money off toll roads.
It's like
from
getting a
visitors.
volume discount.
What if you're just a resident? Why can't you just, if you're a Florida resident, can't you just travel freely? And if you are a non-resident, you have to pay.
Well, what you're proposing is something akin to Disney giving Florida residents a discount on admission, isn't it?
Yes. Speaking of Disney.
Speaking of Disney, who brought that up? Who just came in? What the?
Speaking of Disney, there were reports by, I will say, out-of-state publications. I think Financial Times was one of the ones, right, that said that Republican leaders were going to reverse course on their punishment of Disney. And then the governor's office said that the governor's spokeswoman, Taryn Finsky, tweeted, "The governor does not do U-turns." So that is all about the Disney kerfuffle that blew up earlier this year over the legislation.
The Parental Rights in Education Act.
Thank you. As you are the parent of a child in school, so I'm glad that you know that, because
Yes.
I know it had something to do with what you can say with classroom instruction.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That is,
I know all about the lawsuits, though. If you want to.
Well, yes, the main provision that got everyone up in arms about was disallowing classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in K through third grade.
Right. Okay. So they passed that law. Disney folks went ballistic, the Disney employees, and they wanted their leadership to come out and take a stand against it. And
Disney corporate leadership kind of, according to some employees, dropped the ball and didn't come out, and then they didn't come out forcefully enough, and then they did come out to oppose the bill, and then the governor and leadership was offended at this
very much
and decided to teach Disney a lesson, basically, and take away their special governing district that allows Disney the right to self-govern its own land in Central Florida, including the land that is underneath the main Disney World park and
The
resort.
most magical place on earth.
I'm told it is a magic kingdom. I haven't independently confirmed that. But yes. And so obviously the most recent news is that, and I think the last that I saw was, in fact, no, the governor doesn't do U-turns, but we're going to probably do something.
They have to do something, Jim, because that law, the dissolution of that special district
affects
and
more than just Disney.
five other
districts.
Five other districts around the state. They will dissolve on, I believe it's June 30th, 2023, unless the legislature takes action. So the problem with the issue with the Disney, the elimination of the Disney special district is Disney pays for all of the law enforcement and other, infrastructure costs inside that special district. And those costs would be transferred to the citizens of, I think it's Seminole County, or Orange County, that whatever county. Geez, we are really firing on all cylinders today. Woo!
Get out of our way, folks.
Taxpayers will have to pick up the bill that Disney is now footing.
There
essentially.
you go.
And
That's the worry. That's the concern.
It's tens of millions of dollars per year. So,
although the DeSantis administration said all along that taxpayers are not going to pay.
That's right. But that mechanism for taxpayers not paying will have to be sorted out in some sort of legislation. My understanding is that will not happen during the special session.
Right.
That will happen during the regular session.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe it could be crafted in such a way as to allow Disney to retain some of its authority while not having the appearance of having the governor make a U-turn.
But also, isn't it possible that we could have more special sessions in January and February, and maybe that could be taken up then?
Oh, we could have an unlimited number of special sessions.
Well, not unlimited. There's only so much time between now.
Well, that's true. There's only so many days in the year, so we couldn't have one every day. But we could have another special session. We could have a special session on abortion. I don't think, my understanding is we are not going to.
Well, but the reason I bring that up is because I recall the governor saying we might have more special sessions.
That's true.
In
He
January
did.
and February.
He did.
Okay.
So maybe we will have one on abortion. Maybe it's better to just do a 2-day special session on abortion rather than stringing it out over the 60 days of the legislative session plus committee weeks.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I'm just saying.
Thinking about that rap song. If I ruled the world, if we ruled the world, we could just get stuff done. You get a special session, and you get a special session, but that's not the way it works.
No, special sessions are kind of a pain in the neck,
and they cost money, right?
They do cost money, but this special session that's coming up, it will be the week that this podcast comes out.
Yes. Also a committee week.
Is coinciding with the first committee week of 7 committee weeks in advance of the
2023.
Right, which starts March 7th.
Which starts March 7th.
So, okay.
In Tallahassee at the Capitol. Join us for food, fun, and festivities as we make laws here in the Sunshine State.
Well, I really can't top that. All I can say is thank you very much.
Come to Tallahassee. We'll give you sandwiches as you watch us make laws.
Sandwiches?
I think that's
Don't people want cookies? Who wants sandwiches?
People want
I know what
sandwiches and cookies. You
Thanks
should give
to the
visitors
Reverend
to the
Mrs.
Capitol sandwiches and cookies to come visit the Capitol. Oh,
Thank you to the Reverend
pistachio nuts. Okay.
The Reverend Mrs. Rosica made a little prezi of me of pistachios. So let me give a shout out to the Reverend Mrs.
Thanks, Reverend Aaron. Thank you.
Reverend Aaron.
Wherever you are.
Yeah. And her mother, too.
I think she's at Walmart right now, as a matter of
Sue. Her mother, Sue.
Sue Buckner of Rio Rancho, New Mexico, the city of vision.
She's going to be happy
will,
about my pistachios.
Well, she'll be happy about your pistachios, exactly.
All right, kids, thank you very much. Jim Rosica, editor-in-chief of
City and State Florida, a website, a magazine, and a podcast, all available to you at the touch of a button on a laptop or tablet.
What about your phone?
And that too. Okay. Smartphone thingamabob.
And there you have it, folks. That's it from us.
How do I turn this on?
This dynamic duo will be back in a month. We are doing these once a month. But thanks for listening. Thank you, Jim, for joining. And we'll be back next week.
And we might actually be a little less befuddled by then, too.
Don't count on it.
This was kind of a weird off thing. It's after Thanksgiving. It's before Christmas,
Don't count on it.
We'll be fine. Trust us.
A Deeper Dive with Dara is a podcast by City and State Florida, hosted by Dara Cam, produced by Ryan Daly, and music for the podcast was recorded by Periodic Labs, LLC, and performed by Ryan Daly and Danny Reyes.